Welcome, dear friends. It's a great pleasure and an honor to have so many of you joining today this special session on the cultural heritage in the light of the Baha'i perspective. And many of you don't know, but there is a task force at the Northern Virginia Baha'i Center for which a few of the members are here today, who organize this type of event on a regular basis. And today it's a series of talks that explore different cultures which are destined to contribute to the realization of the Baha'i principle of unity in diversity. And today is a special day because we're going to talk about the République de Côte d'Ivoire and its cultural heritage. And it's a pleasure to have a few of our friends who have lived for many years in Côte d'Ivoire who gather today. It's like a reunion today. They are not, many of them are not anymore in Côte d'Ivoire, but their heart, I know, is over there. So without further ado, what we're going to do is to have a short devotional program. And after that, I will have the honor of introducing our three speakers for today. And we will let them present and play some drum and explain a little bit the Côte d'Ivoire cultural heritage and its link to the Baha'i perspective. And then we will open up for some questions and answers. So, Payman John, you can go ahead with the devotional, please.
On va commencer par les prières. Okay.
Oh God, my God, aid thou thy trusted servants to have loving and tender hearts. Help them to spread amongst all the nations of the earth the light of guidance that cometh from the company on high. Verily, thou art the strong, the powerful, the mighty, the all-subduing, the ever-giving. Verily, thou art the generous, the gentle, the tender, the most bountiful.
Thank you. So it's my great pleasure now to introduce our three wonderful speakers. First, I will start with Professor Gbaklia Elvis Koffi, who is a musicologist, a specialist in educational science. He is currently the head of the Department of Arts and Letters of the Higher Teachers Training Institute in Abidjan, République de Côte d'Ivoire. As a multidisciplinary scholar, he presently works in the field of study of the talking drums language, for which we're going to have the pleasure of hearing from him. He does a lot of cinema and audiovisual, and he also pedagogy and didactics of the arts. We also have Mr. Serge Ziehi, who is an international consultant in telecom and information technology. He is passionate about technology and arts. His attractions to arts of all kinds, particularly music and cinema, drives him to seek how to infuse arts as a valuable asset to promote and galvanize activities in Baha'i communities. He's also convinced that the richness of Ivorian cultural heritage could provide a source of energy to fuel friends' inspiration in order to generate Baha'i-inspired artworks, which would convey the wonderful teachings and emotions enshrined in Baha'u'llah's message of peace and unity for all mankind. And last but not least, Dr. Zekrullah Kazemi, who was employed as a lecturer at the Higher Education Institute of Arts and Cultural Action in Abidjan. Dr. Kazemi, while teaching, continued studies and obtained a doctoral degree in communication, a PhD equivalent from the Office of International Education Services in Washington, D.C., and he continued lecturing as a professor of communication and arts in Côte d'Ivoire. He has been a pioneer in Côte d'Ivoire since 1970. He served as a member of the first National Spiritual Assembly there and was a member of the Continental Board of Counselors for Africa. After retirement, he dedicated his time to writing and helping the Ruhi Institute in training tutors for study circles in different parts of Africa. He has also enjoyed writing books and articles on various Baha'i topics, including reflection on the hidden words of Baha'u'llah, the destiny of Africa, and biblical and Islamic prophecies, to name a few. So without further ado, maybe we can ask Professor Koffi to give us a quick, demonstration of the drum, if you would like to, and then I will pass it on to Serge to start his presentation, and then we will come back to Koffi and then Mr. Kazemi.
Okay, so Professor Koffi Elvis is going to welcome all of you and introduce the subject by the talking drum. So the drum is talking. So if you want to have, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, just you address the drum. The drum will answer you. Okay. So, hi.
Hello, Professor Koffi. Welcome. Please go ahead.
Okay, glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you as well.
Okay, my English is not so good, so listen carefully.
Well, he's very humble, huh? Yeah.
And I'm going to perform the talking drum. So see and listen.
Okay. Okay.
Voilà. Non, derrière. Voilà, c'est bon.
Non, ça, on te voit, mais on ne voit pas le temps.
Oui, non, baisse un peu, baisse un peu. Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes. Okay. In Africa and here in Côte d'Ivoire, our ancestors used to communicate with
drum.
in drum. So drums are a communication way.
Means of communication.
Yes, medium to comment on dit transmettre?
To transmit, to convey.
Yes. So this way I have two drums. It is like a couple. The male one with a low
with tenor voice.
Yes, a low tone.
Bass.
As a man, and the female female
soprano. Soprano.
Yes, the tone is high. So I'm going to present myself. Who is there this night? Who is there? Who is there this night?
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
Who is there tonight? Yeah.
I'm going to tell into drums language.
Okay.
What's your name? Who are you? Koffi. My name is Koffi. My name is Koffi. 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 So, thank you. Welcome to this communication, and see you and listen you soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Koffi. Thank you.
Okay, this is the introduction, and later on he's going to develop the topic, the subject, explain how it works, and okay, that was just introduction. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kazemi. Mr. Serge, would you like to continue now with your presentation?
Sorry?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Hello, dear friends. Thank you. I see some faces that I've not seen for maybe 20 years or 25 years, like Arash. Hi, Arash. So I'm pleased to be there with you today. And I have been invited to this presentation. It's a very big honor to share with you my passion and my love of art and cinema. And in this presentation, I will try to share with you, I hope you see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. I will just share a glimpse of Ivory Coast cinema and what today we have in Ivory Coast, some idea of the history of cinema in Ivory Coast in few words. So it's not an expert presentation, it's just somebody who's passionate in cinema and shares some idea of what's happening here. And the most important, I will also give my view, my personal view as a Baha'i of what this environment can bring to us as a Baha'i community and how we can use it in few words, how we can use it to empower our youth, our children, and develop our community. So these pictures here shows in a very broad overview about 50 years of cinema in Côte d'Ivoire. And you see some faces here. Those people are actually the faces of cinema in Côte d'Ivoire. Since the early days of cinema in Côte d'Ivoire, around 1960s, those peoples have been give some milestones, some major milestones of Côte d'Ivoire cinema. For example, this person here is Mr. Timité Boussouri, is the person, the first person to make the first movie in Côte d'Ivoire. And Mr. Boussouri did it in 1964, and it was a very early age with no background, no example to follow in Ivory Coast. So it was a very good, accomplishment at this time. And I will not go person by person, but I will just go directly to the last figure This person is Mr. Philippe Lacoste. He's a young realizator, producer and realizator in Côte d'Ivoire. And today, in Ivory Coast, we are very proud that his last film have been pre-selected to the Oscar competition, the 1903rd Oscar competition for foreign cinema production. So there is a long story about 50 years, very, very different type of production. But one major point that can be noticed is that the Ivory Coast cinema have been always a factor of social education, driven by those realizators, but supported by the government, and always as a channel to educate people. So this is a very deep history, and I will just give some, I would say, milestone. So in 1961, there was this society to promote or to help people to do movie in Côte d'Ivoire, the Société of Ivory Coast Cinema, la Société du Cinéma de Côte d'Ivoire, just after the independence, because the independence in Côte d'Ivoire was in 1960. And this company was directly built in the motivation of producing a movie. But for diverse reasons, this movie did not happen. And 2 years ago, 2 years after that, the National Television Company was created. And 1 year after, and by the way, this company, National Television in Côte d'Ivoire, was the first television company, public company in West Africa. So it was very pioneer, let's say, attempt in the region. And it was created to help not only TV, but cinema, because at this time, most of the production was promoted, and produced by the state. And so the year after that, the first movie was actually produced. It's the first ever movie in Ivory Coast. And it was a very, let's say, advanced concept, you know, because it was like a science fiction movie, actually, because it was based on a story that was not, we say, a social drama, but it was based on the legend in Ivory Coast that we called Mami Wata. But this is something, maybe some people that, some friends from Côte d'Ivoire knows this story. Mami Wata is a legend in Côte d'Ivoire that we give to children when they are not, they are not, how to say it, they are not calm. So, so it was a very interesting starting. And then after that, there was a very, let's say, new context that happened in the economy with the digitalization. And so many types of production were possible because the costs were more possible. I mean, the production were not too much extensive, too much costly. So more production came on the ecosystem thanks to the digitalization. And since 2008 in Ivory Coast, there is a dedicated office, national office, to promote overall economical, cultural activity around the cinema. So basically, this is generally how the cinema in Côte d'Ivoire evolved and grew since those 55 years. And if you see these pictures behind, you will see that this is the first cinema in Ivory Coast, the Cinema Rex. Myself, I never gone into cinema. I was too young, but my mother, maybe, you know, some old people know this cinema. It's the first cinema open in Côte d'Ivoire. At this time, the cinema was not even something known in Ivory Coast. So today in 2022, the cinema in Ivory Coast is really a strength for the Côte d'Ivoire culture. It's a strength. It helps of the rayonment of the positioning, social, cultural positioning of the Côte d'Ivoire in the region. And it's really, it has a deep roots in the national audiovisual asset. And as I said from the beginning, it has a purpose and the mission to educate people. We have a very various type of production. Lastly, when I saw the statistic of the cinema in Côte d'Ivoire, every year we have about 10, that is not small for the size of the country, but 10 major production in Côte d'Ivoire every year that are at regional quality level. Still, there is some challenge, different type of challenge. I will not go in the details, but as every country, especially in Africa, the challenge are the same, the training, the regulation around the cinema, and of course, the economic sustainability of the cinema ecosystem is not always the best. But basically, there is an heritage. There is some long history of quality movie and knowledge, know how to do cinema, and there is an appetite for people to consume cinema and to consume art and to promote it. So, as a Baha'i, I will just being very convinced of that, and I think the cinema can touch people in their hearts. The heart in general can touch people in the deep heart. And I just took this extract of Abdul Baha in the Abdul Baha in London book. And Baha'u'llah will say that the drama is of the utmost importance. And it has been a great educational power in the past. It will be so again. It describes, and Abdul Baha described, how a young boy, he witnessed the mystery play of highly betrayal and passion, and how it affected him so deeply that he wept and could not sleep for many nights. So what does it sound for me? That we have the opportunity to develop, we have the opportunity in Ivory Coast, at least based on what we have already as an asset, we have the opportunity to develop some, let's say, some new kind of vector that can touch people as a cultural asset, as a cultural, I will not say tools, but at some very powerful mean to go deeply in the heart and to find what is meaningful to them based on the powerful vector capability of the cinema and the art in general. So when I look at the activity, for example, in my community, I cannot do a generalization actually, but personally I see that we have already a framework, I believe, because through the Ruby Institute, through the program for the junior youth and also the Baha'i children classes, we have the framework. Within this framework, we can diffuse, we can infuse, we can at least try to develop some vocation or some new talents. And I remember in Gbaklia, just last year, we have organized a festival for the young junior spiritual groupment and also for the children. And I remember we had about 60 participants. Some of them did some artistic drama, some of them did songs. We involved some professional art trainer, and clearly that, I think, had a deep impact, not only on the participant, the young participant, but really on also on the parents. And those parents were not always Baha'i, they were not Baha'i, most of them, but they had they have this impact. They touch what the young children can do via the heart, but they also, and I believe that, see the greatness of the message of Baha'u'llah through these hearts that the young children give. So I think we have in Ivory Coast what we need, yes, to build upon the cultural heritage. And as a Baha'i, we have what we need to promote our conviction through this asset. Thank you very much.
This is very nice. Thank you so much, Serge, for giving us such a comprehensive sort of explanation of the cultural aspect in Côte d'Ivoire of music. And I was wondering, before giving the mic to Dr. Kazemi, I just want to make sure and see if anybody has any points or questions or comments that they would like to make at this moment. Just if any questions or you want to add something or comments. If we don't have anything, and you can always put it on the chat if it's easier for you, so that then we can pass it on to the speaker. But Mr. Kazemi, over to you.
Yeah, please, I didn't follow your question. We have a mic, we have loudspeakers here, and there are lots of echo in the
No, Mr. Kazemi, I was just asking the audience if they had any questions for Serge at this moment, or if they wanted to add, and it seems like nobody has. I see Jolie wants to say something, but at the end. So yes, I will give you the mic, Jolie, at the end of the session. So Mr. Kazemi, we're ready for you.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank you for organizing this wonderful program, and also to tell you how I'm excited to see all these beautiful faces and the people here. Actually, I'm speechless right now because there are so many people who know better Africa than me, and they are specialists in arts. And okay. So they tell me that I see myself here. So anyhow, after listening to what Professor Koffi said and what Serge Ziehi said, I wanted just to go to the subject of the contribution of the Black African people to the world civilization. As you know, Baha'u'llah once compared the Black race, according to Abdul Baha's testimony. Baha'u'llah compared the Black race to the black pupil of the eye, through which the light of truth shines forth. I'm sure you are familiar with this quotation. And also Shoghi Effendi, the beloved guardian, said, and I'm going to read what Shoghi Effendi said: Africa is truly awakening and finding herself. And she undoubtedly has a great message to give and a great contribution to make to the advancement of world civilization. To the degree to which her people accept Baha'u'llah, will they be blessed, strengthened, and protected. So we realize that Africa has a great role to play to the advancement of the world civilization. And my question is how, and in what aspects the African people can contribute to the world civilization. When we study different African cultures in general, we will see that there are many similarities, very close similarities between their belief and the Baha'i faith. For instance, in Africa, the notion of art in general is a collective activity. It's not something individual. For instance, you saw right now, Professor Koffi Elvis used the drum. Drum is a means of communication for the community. In addition to its artistic value, it has also a social function, for instance. So the arts in general have a social function. And as a matter of fact, the art is defined according to the Black African specialists. They say whatever is beautiful is good, and whatever is good is useful, and whatever is useful is truth, is real, is true. So this means the art should be somehow useful. It has a utility aspect in the arts in general. And it's different with the European perception of art, because in Europe, especially in France and they say art for arts. This means art is devoid of any utility, of any social function. And I wanted to read to you one of the famous French writers and philosophers who says, there is nothing truly beautiful. There is nothing truly beautiful except what can be of no use. You follow me? There is nothing truly beautiful except what can be of no use. Everything useful is ugly. I prefer a Chinese vase strewn with dragons and mandarins, which does not serve me at all, to a certain vase that serves me. This is, I'm not saying that, this is a French author, and his name is, just let me tell you, Théophile Gautier. Théophile Gautier, okay. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. So, you see?
Mr. Kazemi, we see half of you. You need to bring your camera and we see just half of you. We were seeing you well earlier. You just need to bring, very good.
Okay. Okay, we have to connect again, sorry.
No, you're good. We can hear you, we can see you.
Okay, you can see me?
Yes.
Okay, because there is something on the screen. Listen. Okay.
No, we can see you well.
I got it. Okay. We have a little problem here. Just let us solve this problem. Okay. So now it's okay?
It's perfect. We see you very well and we can hear you.
So now we see lots of similarities between the African concept of art in general and the teaching of the Baha'i faith. You remember well what Baha'u'llah says about profession. He says, it is incumbent upon each one of you to be engaged in some occupation, such as craft and trade and the like. And then he says, the quotation says, waste not your hours in idleness and sloth, but occupy yourself with what would benefit you and others. So this means that whatever you do, no matter art, profession, or occupation, whatever you do, it should be it should have some utility in the society. So this is where we see similarities between the African culture and the teaching of the Baha'i faith. So these are the things, unfortunately, with the aggressive influence of the media today, of new technologies, some of the African values are somehow neglected or disappearing, or they are disappearing. So what the Africans should do now is to remain what they are, to remain to go to their root, to their tradition, to their social values and cultural values, and strengthen these positive aspects of their culture in order to contribute to the world civilization. Anyhow, I don't want to take too much time, maybe through discussions, through answers and questions and answers, we can go a little farther in that, a little deeper in that. So I would like to thank you again for organizing that, and also that's just a short presentation of the way the African culture and African arts can contribute to the world civilization. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kazemi. What a fascinating presentation you're giving us on linking really the cultural aspect to some of the Baha'i concepts and Baha'u'llah's vision on the building a civilization. What I would like to know, does Professor Koffi wants to say a few words? Mr. Kazemi or no? Professeur Koffi, est-ce que vous voulez dire quelques mots?
Ah, tu sais parler français?
C'est une fille de Côte d'Ivoire.
Je suis ivoirienne.
OK. Donc, je ne vais plus me fatiguer pour parler en anglais. Quand je vais dire en anglais, en français, tu vas traduire pour les autres. Est-ce que c'est possible?
D'accord, c'est possible. So he's going to say in French and I will translate if possible in English. But I have my best teacher here, Johnny Lincoln, who can also do that.
Okay, Johnny Lincoln.
Allez-y.
OK, bonjour à tout le monde.
Hello, everyone.
Je remercie la communauté Baha'i pour l'opportunité à moi, au fait, cette soirée, de parler d'un pan de notre culture.
I would like to thank the Baha'i community for giving me this opportunity to talk about the Ivorian culture.
Mon frère Kazemi m'a appelé pour que je vous parle d'un élément important de la culture de Côte d'Ivoire.
My brother, Mr. Kazemi, has asked me to come so I can speak to you about an important aspect of the cultural aspect of Côte d'Ivoire.
Et cet élément important s'appelle le tambour.
And this important element is called the drums.
Et ce tambour, celui qui m'a formé et qui m'a appris d'un point de vue universitaire et scientifique, c'est Feu, le professeur Nyangoran Bois. Il est décédé aujourd'hui.
And the person who has provided me the teaching about this drum was Professor, comment il s'appelle, professeur?
Nyangoran.
Nyangoran, the Professor Nyangoran,
Bois,
George Nyangoran, who has passed away.
Yes.
Okay.
Et lui, il est socio-anthropologue.
He's a social anthropologist.
Voilà, donc j'ai été formé comme socio-anthropologue.
I was trained by him as a social anthropologist,
mais également comme musicologue.
but also as a musicologue, do we say in English?
Musicologist.
Musicologiste.
Musicologist.
Voilà, alors en latin, il est écrit ceci.
Oh là, ça va être difficile de traduire ça maintenant, mais
Bon,
allez-y.
d'accord,
Serge,
alors
tu es
j'ai
là pour
traduit en
m'aider.
français. Alors, les
Ça va être
white
chaud.
people used to say that les paroles s'envolent, mais les écrits restent. Ziehi, il faut traduire ça.
So they say in
Nice.
the words go away, but the
Goes.
writing stay.
Stays.
C'est ça?
Yeah.
C'est
Oui.
ça.
Writing remain.
Voilà, les paroles
Exactly.
s'envolent, mais les écrits restent.
Remains. Mm.
Alors moi, j'ai dit que je ne suis pas totalement d'accord avec ça.
So I
Parce
told
que-
them that I don't agree with that.
Oui, parce que nous avons trouvé le moyen de conserver la parole qui ne s'envole pas et qui demeure.
Because we have found a way to keep the words and stay with us.
Alors, c'est pourquoi mon intervention suffira sous trois points.
That's why my interventions will be based on 3 points.
Alors, le premier point va présenter les tambours comme instrument de musique.
So the first one will be the drums as a musical instrument.
Voilà. Alors, en tant que tel, les sons produits par le tambour, hein, c'est dans le cadre strictement musical.
The sound from the drums will be only structural. Serge, tu veux prendre après ça?
C'est
Okay. I
strictement
will try.
musical, dans le cadre de la musique.
Is strictly musical in the context
Yes,
of
musical.
music.
In music performance.
For perform music.
Yes, voilà. Strictement musical. Lors des cérémonies de la vie sociale.
During social ceremonies, social activities,
Comme les naissances, baptême, mariage, funérailles, initiation, etc.
birthday, wedding, initiation, social initiation, etc.
Alors, dans ce cadre-là, les tambours produisent de la musique.
So the drums at this occasion play music
Et pour accompagner les chants et les danses.
to follow, to give the music to the dances and to the songs.
Voilà. Alors, en Côte d'Ivoire, les recherches que nous avons faites nous ont permis de faire ressortir des formules rythmiques de chaque peuple. Et je vais vous donner des exemples.
So in Côte d'Ivoire, we did some research, and the outcome is that we have identified some formula, some kind of formula, some rules for each ethnies.
Yes, rhythmic formule. Donc, je vais vous donner des formules rythmiques de quelques ethnies de Côte d'Ivoire qui permettent au tambour de faire de la musique.
So I will give you some example of these rhythmic formulas.
Voilà. Alors, j'ai les baguettes.
So I have
Et vous voyez, ce sont des
sticks.
baguettes crochues. Je ne sais pas si vous voyez bien, ce sont des baguettes crochues.
Was bent.
Yeah.
Who hooked?
Ziehi, comment tu peux traduire ça? Use
Yeah, the sticks have some knocks or
Bent
some, I don't know,
sticks.
bends.
Voilà.
Yes.
Voilà. Donc, c'est avec ça que nous tapons sur les peaux des instruments, peaux des tambours. Voici une formule rythmique chez les Akans. Baoulé, Agni, Aché. Voilà la formule rythmique.
This is a rhythmic formula
Akan.
among the Akan ethnic group. They are partly in Ghana, partly in Côte d'Ivoire. Okay.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu?
Did you hear?
Très bien.
Yeah.
Okay.
Très bien. Voilà, donc c'est chez les Akans.
Okay.
Chez les BT, c'est au niveau des crews.
This is another group, another ethnic group called Bete, is in central Côte d'Ivoire, is center of the Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah.
C'est une formule rythmique des BT.
Okay.
Voici
This is
maintenant une formule rythmique des ouais. Les savets s'en dansent le l'équilé. Voilà, ça c'est chez les ouais, chez Ziehi là-bas.
among the
Ouais.
Serge is place, Serge is homeland.
Voilà, maintenant les
I
Akans
confirm.
chez les Hébriers. Voilà. Voilà. Chez les goûts, les sénoufos. Alors là, et il tape pas le tambour, mais c'est sur un autre instrument. Donc vous voyez que pour qu'il y ait la danse, il faut des formules rythmiques. Et c'est ça qui permet au tambour d'être un instrument de musique. Voilà quelques exemples.
These are a few examples of different parts of Côte d'Ivoire with different rhythms.
Maintenant, je vais vous parler du tambour comme médium de communication.
Now I'm going to talk to you about the drum as a means of communication.
Voilà, alors, les chercheurs en linguistique ont fait des études chez les peuples Akans et les différents peuples de Côte d'Ivoire.
The linguist researchers have done lots of studies among the Akan group.
Et en Côte d'Ivoire, chez les Akans, ils ont trouvé, alors, il faut dire à nos amis que chez nous, le langage, toutes les ethnies sont des langues à ton, des langues à ton. En anglais, on dit tone.
How I can translate it? So
These are, in Côte d'Ivoire, most of the languages which are spoken in different ethnic groups are with tone, you know, with tone, tonality, you know. They speak rather with tonality.
yeah.
Et les chercheurs ont trouvé 5 tons.
And they have found 5 different tonalities.
Donc, il y a le ton bas,
Low tone,
le ton haut,
high,
le ton
medium,
haut, bas,
le tone little lower than high,
et le ton bas haut,
and little higher than low,
et le ton
and the medium.
le médium.
Okay.
Donc, tel que vous voyez, ça se résume à 2 tons.
So as you see, it is outlined in 2 different tones.
Voilà, 2 tons.
2 tones.
Le ton bas
Low
et le ton haut. Donc, les Africains ont fabriqué des tambours dans lesquels ils transcrivent les tons de la langue parlée dans le médium tambouriné, dans les tambours.
So they have African, they made drums which can translate these low and these high tones.
Voilà. Donc, quand le tambour parle, il ne fait pas de musique.
When the drum speaks, it doesn't make a musical
Voilà.
voice. It doesn't make a musical noise.
Voilà, il y a le langage parlé qui est à part et puis il y a le langage musical à part.
The musical sound is different from speaking tones, speaking sound.
Voilà, donc par exemple, un exemple simple.
Some simple example,
Je prends mon nom,
I take my name,
Koffi.
Koffi.
Vous voyez, vous entendez Ko, c'est bas et puis Fi en haut.
The Ko is low and Fi is high. Koffi.
Voilà, donc dans le tambour, si on doit m'appeler, on dit Koffi.
In the drum, they call it, they say Koffi.
Voilà, donc quand le tambour, vous arrivez dans un village et qu'on ne connaît pas votre nom, on ne sait pas qui vous êtes, alors, et qu'on veut, le tambour veut s'adresser à vous.
In a village, when the people don't know you, the drum is asking you.
Il ne connaît pas votre nom, mais il vous appelle être humain.
It doesn't know your name, but it calls you a human being.
Être humain, donne-moi ton nom.
Human being, give me your name.
Plomblostrom, Fadouma Brem. Je vais jouer lentement.
I'm going to play it slowly.
Yes. Plomblostrom. Fadouma Brem. Fadouma Brem. Plomblostrom, Fadouma Brem. Plomblostrom, Fadouma Brem. Voilà. Et donc, voilà comment les Noirs ont consigné leurs informations secrètes à travers les tambours par la mémorisation.
Okay, so this is how the Black Africans memorize the safeguarded the words, the how to say the parole. The words in drum, in the drum.
Yes, they confirm the main knowledge by memorization in the drums.
Okay.
Voilà, et c'est interdit de se tromper et de modifier.
And this is forbidden for you to make a mistake when you are transmitting, when you are conveying a message. It should be exactly what it has been said in the beginning, in the origin. Yeah.
Voilà, alors ce qui fait que nous avons reçu des textes de nos ancêtres et ces textes-là ne sont pas changés jusqu'à aujourd'hui.
This is how we have received the text from our ancestors and we kept it as such, you know, intact. Yes.
Voilà, donc voici le tambour comme médium de communication.
This is the term, how the drum is used as a means of communication.
Et ça nous a sauvés parce que lorsque les Blancs, les colons venaient prendre des esclaves, les gens jouaient et ils prévenaient la population et les gens fuyaient pour se cacher.
Okay, this helped us during the colonization because when the colonialists came here, they went to the villages and they found the villages were empty, but they didn't know how it could happen. But the secret was in the drum, because when they came, the drum announced to the neighboring villages and it went from village to another village, from one town to another town. So everybody in the area was informed of the coming of colonialists.
Voilà.
So that's how it protected, the drum protected African people in those days.
Ok, alors maintenant je vais terminer en disant que le tambour est aussi un symbole de pouvoir dans l'aristocratie traditionnelle.
Okay, I'm going also to tell you that the drum is a sign, a symbol of power in the African autocracy, the African aristocracy, sorry.
Yes. Traditional aristocracy.
Traditional aristocracy.
Voilà, donc un chef, un roi a toujours un tambourinaire.
A king or a chief, a big chief, has always a person who plays the drum, a drummer.
Voilà, et il a toujours un nom tambouriné.
And he also has a name, a drum name.
Yes. Et donc, et le tambourinaire lui-même, il a un nom tambouriné.
And the drummer himself has a drum name. So when he plays his name on the drum, people can understand, can recognize.
Et donc, je vais vous dire le nom d'un roi, le nom tambouriné d'un roi.
I'm going to tell you the drum name of the king.
C'est quand l'affaire est dure, insoluble, qu'on m'appelle.
When the problem is very complicated, they call me. Okay. So you understood it, no?
Voilà. Donc, voici mon nom tambouriné pour vous dire merci de m'avoir donné l'occasion ce soir.
And this is my drum name, and I would like to thank you to have given me this opportunity today.
Alors, mon nom tambouriné est drum saki de frère Prempe.
And my drum name is what he said. I cannot translate.
My drum name is a drum saki de frère Prempe. C'est ma devise tambourinée.
Okay.
Drum saki de frère Prempe. Drum saki de frère Prempe. Quand l'affaire est gâtée, quand on ne peut plus résoudre, c'est à ce moment-là qu'on m'appelle pour que je vienne résoudre.
Okay, when there is a difficult problem and no one can solve it, then they come to me.
Yes.
And they ask me to solve the situation.
Ok, donc je vous dis merci.
And I tell you thank you.
Et je vous dis merci en tambour.
And also I will tell you thank you through the drum, by the drum.
Merci beaucoup et que Dieu vous bénisse là-bas.
God bless you.
Okay.
Merci beaucoup, professeur Koffi, de nous avoir donné cette chance de comprendre en musique et en théorie. C'était très intéressant. Moi, j'ai beaucoup appris et ça m'a permis de comprendre un peu, si vous voulez, la culture de la musique en Côte d'Ivoire et comment est-ce que vous pouvez mettre la théorie en pratique. Merci infiniment. I was just thanking Professor Koffi for allowing us to get a better understanding of how the theory of the music and the cultural aspect of it is being done being transmitted into more of a practical way. And donc merci beaucoup. Payman June, Marisa June, well, what is the product? Do we go for question and answer, or Mr. Kazemi, do you have anything to add?
No, I want to just introduce to you one of our colleagues who has been very instrumental to organize this, and it's Professor Gossan, who is sitting back there. maybe I ask him to come here and you see, he's a professor of communication and arts, but he has a language problem. So he followed the, come here. Viens. Non, tu viens, tu dis bonjour, c'est tout. Tu dis bonjour.
Bonjour, chers amis.
This is Professor Gossan, François Gossan, who is also professor of communication and arts. He's teaching in the art and communication department. Just he wants to say hello in French. Go ahead.
Voilà, donc pour savoir prononcer le nom, comme l'a dit le professeur Koffi Elvis tout à l'heure, la langue c'est une langue à ton. Est-ce que Gossan, les gens ne vont pas me reconnaître, il faut dire Gossan.
OK.
Voilà, une langue à ton et l'eau.
OK.
Voyez-vous, comme ça, si vous arrivez chez moi, tout de suite, vous demandez à un enfant, il saura qui c'est.
Okay.
Alors,
So as Professor Koffi was saying, our tongues, our languages are tonal languages. So my name, you should say Go Sang. But if you don't say, you don't respect the tonality, people don't recognize what are you talking about.
et le professeur Koffi a dit quelque chose qui est important dans les tambours. Les tambours conservent les paroles. On a
And
dit qu'en Afrique, les paroles s'envolent. Mais ici, dans ce que le professeur Nyangoramboa nous a enseigné, les tambours sont conservés dans les tambours.
okay, so what Professor Koffi said tonight is very important because they say in Africa they don't have written culture, it's an oral tradition. It's true. But here in Côte d'Ivoire, Professor Nyangoramboa helped us to safeguard the words in the drum. So it's just like a written document. So it's a document for us also.
J'ajouterai dans ce qu'il a dit qui est important, c'est que personne n'a le droit de modifier la parole.
And
Les
also,
paroles qui sont conservées depuis des millénaires dans les tambours.
and also what he said, that the words should not be changed, should not be betrayed. You know, what has been said 1,000 years ago is the same that we say today, because nobody is allowed to make any mistake when transmitting the message, when conveying the message.
Et j'ajouterai que dans ce qu'il a dit, le professeur Koffi, c'est tellement juste que c'est comme les légendes. Chaque peuple a une légende. Chaque peuple a une histoire. Mais quand la légende est contée, et ce n'est pas n'importe qui n'est pas récitant. Il faut être d'origine, n'importe qui ne dit pas le mythe, n'importe qui ne dit pas la légende. Et le récitant doit être un sachant, il n'a pas le droit de modifier une seule parole.
Okay, so it's like a history, like a legend. You know, each people, each nation, each community, society has a history. When they transmit the history, the person who transmits this through the drum is not authorized to add anything or to change the word, to change the history of that people.
Et soyez prêts, le professeur Koffi va vous étonner que Abidjan n'est pas la propriété de ceux dont vous pensez aujourd'hui. Il y a un autre peuple qui l'a occupé et il a trouvé ça dans les tambours, dans les paroles des tambours qui ont été conservées. Il les a interrogés, eux-mêmes ont révélé qu'effectivement, ils ne sont pas les originaires d'Abidjan comme on le fait croire à tout le monde.
Okay, one thing also Professor Koffi mentioned is that Abidjan it used to be inhabited by other people who had protected these words and this history, but now other people came and occupied the land.
Apprêtez-vous à recevoir son ouvrage qui va sortir bientôt sur les originaires de la ville d'Abidjan.
Okay, so be ready for the next volume of the Professor Koffi's work, which is about the origin of the Abidjan people who first occupied the land here in Abidjan.
Donc, les tambours demeurent une véritable bibliothèque vivante.
So the drums continue to be a true library for the African people.
Donc, si vous venez en Côte d'Ivoire, surtout dans le grand groupe Akan, Si vous voulez connaître une histoire, interrogez le tambour.
So if you come to Côte d'Ivoire and you want to know the history of Côte d'Ivoire, don't ask people, ask the drum. And the drum will tell you the history of Côte d'Ivoire.
Bon, ce n'est pas pour critiquer les historiens, mais après la colonisation, on nous a donné une carte avec des flèches, tel peuple vient d'ici, tel peuple vient d'ici. Mais les tambours nous ont enseigné, nous ont appris que nous venons de tel endroit avec précision.
Okay, I don't want to criticize, but after the colonization, the people came and they told us you are from that area and those people are your ancestors. But what we had in the drums was totally different. And in the drum, we had our history, our origins.
Donc, vous ne soyez pas étonnés. Si vous êtes ivoirienne, un jour, on dira que vous venez de la région d'Abengourou, par exemple, en tant que fille Aïmi. Parce qu'on va remonter et trouver les origines de vos aïeux qui va vous donc situer en tant que peuple de Côte d'Ivoire.
Okay, so if one day you come in Côte d'Ivoire, the drum can tell you your genealogy to say where you are coming from and where are you, who are your ancestors.
Moi-même qui vous parle, c'est grâce au tambour que j'ai su que mes aïeux venaient d'un grand empire.
Okay.
L'empire Ashanti, de Kumasi, au Ghana. Le Ghana n'existait pas en ce moment-là.
Okay, I myself, not me, Professor Gosan. Professor Gosan says, I myself, through the drum, I realized, I discovered that I belonged to the royal family.
Bon, je vais terminer. Il avait de grands empires en Afrique de l'Ouest.
There used to be big empires here.
Etc. Les gens ont émigré et c'est après Berlin, quand on vient de Berlin, qu'on a chapitré les pays, on nous a donné des noms et des noms. Sinon, c'était un vaste territoire, l'Empire Ashanti. Yeah. Si vous voyez, il y a des noms ici en Côte d'Ivoire. Koffi, par exemple, vous allez retrouver ça au Ghana. Au Togo, Ghana, partout.
So, just tell you that Africa was a united land, but... okay, il faut saluer Johnny Lincoln, parce que tu as parlé de Johnny Lincoln, elle est là. Because Professor Gosan, Johnny, are you there?
Lincoln.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, he was asking me several times. You remember Professor Nyangorambwa?
Bien sûr, j'avais l'espoir que je pourrais dire quelque chose parce que vous ne pouvez pas savoir combien ce programme me touche. J'ai fait mes études avec professeur Nyangorambwa. Moi-même, c'est lui qui a dirigé ma thèse.
Voilà, justement. Vous allez travailler sur les femmes Ngati de Dabou.
Vous êtes de Dabou?
No, il n'est pas de Dabou, but he knows that you worked on a...
Vous avez travaillé avec les femmes Ngati de Dabou, donc
Exactement. Alors, si je peux juste vous rappeler, parce que je suis devenue tellement excitée par cette conversation, mais j'ai fait mes études entre 90 et 93, et Nyangorambwa était mon directeur, ou je ne sais pas comme.
Directeur de thèse.
Okay. Oui. C'était l'INA à ce temps-là, c'est ça qu'on appelait l'école. Et j'ai fait ma thèse sur le sujet de chansons de maternité à Djougou. Alors, j'ai fait toute une recherche à Ngati, mais M. Nyangorambwa m'a dit que ça ne suffit pas, il faut que tu fais aussi des Brimou et Akradio. Alors, j'ai fait les trois. Et la thèse a 190 pages, quelque chose comme ça, en mauvais français, excusez-moi. Mais et en plus, il a insisté que je fais un vidéo. Alors, j'ai toute une vidéo. J'ai tout ça aujourd'hui. Et même il y a quelques mois en Israël, à l'université de Haïfa, ils m'ont demandé de faire un discours pendant 1 heure pour expliquer toutes ces recherches de Côte d'Ivoire.
Johnny, peut-être que vous pouvez rapidement dire en anglais ce que vous avez dit en français. If you can just translate it for those people who speak English. I think it's very interesting.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying, excuse me, I became very excited to come on this call because when we were living in the Ivory Coast between 1990 and 1993, I did my master's degree in music. I had dreamed for 15 years of continuing my studies in music, but neither Central African Republic nor Cameroon offered any possibility of such a study. So when I got finally to Ivory Coast and I found there was a program, I signed up. It wasn't composition, it wasn't writing music the way I wanted to, but it was music. And then the idea was to choose a subject to study. So I chose the subject called The Songs of Maternity by the Ajukru people. So I interviewed women all over that area about songs that women had written about women's subjects. So it was. Shall I continue in English or French? I'm mixed up now.
But I think the important point, Johnny, that you brought it to is that he was your professor.
Well, my professor was the same professor of Monsieur Koffi, who trained Mr. Koffi, n'est-ce pas? Yeah. Professeur Nyangorombois.
C'est professeur Koffi.
C'est mon professeur.
Oui.
Il était là, Johnny.
Oui.
Professor Koffi was at your defense of your thesis, of your dissertation. He was present.
Okay,
with
okay.
Professor Gossan, both of them were at your. Yeah. Your presentation, they were there.
Ils étaient aussi chez nous à la maison après?
No, they didn't come to your house.
Oh, dommage, parce que toutes les femmes du crew sont venues en bus pour qu'on puisse faire une commémoration tout ensemble. Et c'était vraiment des moments formidables. Je peux jamais oublier.
Johnny,
oui.
You know Mr. and Mrs. Nadafi? Do you remember? Mr. and Mrs. Nadafi.
Bien sûr.
Okay, Mr. Nadafi was today in Dabu, in the same area you were. So he wants just to come and say just a few words, maybe 2-3 words. Mr. Nadafi. Okay, Johnny.
Oui.
Professor Koffi and Professor Gossan are asking if you can send a copy of your dissertation, please.
You know, I got so excited, Zekrullah, that I went to the cupboard to pull it out and look. So
it's with you. Good, look at that. Yeah.
It's huge because I had to. J'étais obligée d'écrire toute la musique, the scores, et tout.
Do you have a digital copy of that? Do you have a digital copy? No.
Aucune idée. Qu'est-ce que j'ai? Il n'a pas une copie dans le bureau parce que M. Nyangorombois a insisté.
Yeah, they should have it.
One copy.
Okay, they should have it at Insight, maybe.
Alina. Oui.
Lina,
Mais sinon, je peux essayer de me débrouiller. Et sinon, je peux aussi vous envoyer une copie de the talk I had to give to Haifa last May.
Okay. Wow, that would be nice.
That would be wonderful, Johnny, if you can send it. That would be wonderful. You know what I would like to do, because I'm mindful about the time, and I know in Côte d'Ivoire it's not that early. I see Heshmat Nadafi here. If he wants to say a few words, and then I would like to open it up for some questions or comments around the presentation. Bonjour, Monsieur Nadafi.
Bonjour.
Vous voulez parler en anglais? Hi, Frances. Nice to see you from the back.
Bon, je suis là avec mon épouse Oda.
Oh, Oda June est là aussi. Would you like to say it in English, maybe? Est-ce que vous voulez dire quelques mots en anglais ou en français? Ensuite, on peut traduire. Hi, Oda June.
Tout simplement, j'ai entendu l'héritage culturel de l'Afrique qui est parti en Europe. Le tambour, chantant parleur, le tambour le plus connu, sera de retour en Côte d'Ivoire l'année prochaine.
Oh, wow. He says that we heard that the Cote d'Ivoire heritage has been taken to Europe. Now, next year, the big talking drum is called Atom no? Digi is the name of the drum, is a big talking drum that France is going to return to Côte d'Ivoire, to restore. Okay. That's great, maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's nice to see you. Very nice to see you all. So I'd like to open it up for questions or maybe
Sure.
points of clarification. And I see that Bill is here too. Hi, Bill. Good to see you.
We have a few videos of 20 minutes of different dances and different cultural aspects of Côte d'Ivoire. Maybe we can just show it. Just if you can talk, you can go ahead because there is another
Sure.
computer here.
And I see Patty also here. Patty, good to see you too. Patty Sima. I'm going to ask the organizers, Paymon and Marisa, what would you suggest? I'm at your disposal.
I think it depends on the audience. We were saying we can continue till 4. If the group wants to continue more, it's up to the group.
Very good. So, Mr. Kazemi, we have until 4. If you would like to show maybe one of the video.
Sorry?
We have until 4, so we have another 25 minutes.
Okay.
If you would like to show maybe one of the video. And
some adjustment with the,
sure, by the time, Jale, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Please unmute yourself.
You're muted.
Okay, it's so nice to see everybody, and I apologize for interrupting. I can't stay very much longer. So if it's okay, I just wanted to say a few words. Relation to Louisiana, where I'm currently living. This is where my mother was from, Sharon Ricky Kazemi. She grew up here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I ended up here. And so my students know me as Dr. Kazemi Gautreau. I have a PhD in Francophone Studies, and you can see my classroom. I teach French online. Welcome to my classroom. Anyways, what I wanted to say was, having grown up in Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, when I teach French, I have a unique perspective here because I can see things that other people that don't come from Africa can't see. For instance, I have seen many contribution of the slaves. I've seen contribution of the slaves to the culture and music here, that even the African American people that live here are not aware of the contribution that their ancestors have made. So, si vous permettez, je peux essayer de traduire en français rapidement. Donc mes étudiants me connaissent comme Dr. Jalé Kazemi Gautreau. J'ai un doctorat en études francophones et grâce à avoir grandi en Côte d'Ivoire pour la moitié de ma vie, je peux voir les contributions africaines ici que les esclaves ont fait, que beaucoup de gens ne voient pas, ne sont pas conscients, et même les Africains américains, même les Noirs ici, ils sont contents quand je parle dans ma classe des esclaves et de leur contribution parce qu'ils ne savent même pas. Donc c'est très intéressant. For example, a lot of the slaves that were brought here in Louisiana were from West Africa. Some of them have the last name here in Louisiana, Senegal or Senegal, okay? And they don't know that they were given that last name because they were taken as slaves from West Africa and brought to the dungeons of Senegal in the island of Gorée, which is the closest point to the US before they were shipped. So they have the last name Senegal. That's kind of where they're coming from, West Africa. Nous avons beaucoup de Noirs ici qui ont les noms de famille Sénégal ou Sénécal parce qu'ils ont été pris, ils ont été enlevés de l'Afrique de l'Ouest, amenés à l'île de Gorée au Sénégal, dans les donjons, et puis ils ont été amenés ici. Bon, pour les contributions, je vais essayer de dire rapidement. La cuisine de la Louisiane est internationale, est devenue populaire à travers tous les États-Unis parce qu'il y a un peu de piquant dedans, d'accord? C'est pas seulement une cuisine du Sud. Il y a des épices dedans qui ne se trouvent partout ailleurs aux États-Unis. Et ça, c'est la contribution des esclaves directs. Ils ont amené ce piquant là-dedans, d'accord? Donc, the food of Louisiana is famous all over the U.S. It is not just a southern U.S. food, it is a spicy food. And the spice was brought by the slaves. That is the African contribution that made this fusion of food in Louisiana so popular. For example, le gumbo, c'est le gumbo, c'est okra. Bon, mais ici quand on dit gumbo, c'est une soupe. Ici quand on dit le gumbo, c'est une soupe que les Acadiens, les Cajuns font avec des fois la saucisse et le poulet ou bien les fruits de mer. Donc, quand je dis à mes étudiants, le mot gumbo, ça vient des esclaves, c'est le français direct, le gumbo. Pourquoi? Parce que les esclaves faisaient le gumbo avec les légumes. Ils venaient d'Afrique et ils faisaient leur nourriture. Et après, c'est devenu, tout le monde faisait la soupe avec tous les ingrédients différents. C'est devenu gumbo. So the gumbo here is directly from the word le gumbo, which means okra. When the slaves came here, they were making gumbo with okra in the big pots like they did in Africa. And then people learned from the slaves. Now gumbo means this kind of soup with, chicken sausage or seafood. But that comes from the slaves, okay? The other thing for the musical thing, we have a genre of music here called les Zydeco. It's a famous, we have Cajun music and we have Zydeco. Zydeco is more of an African-American music down here. It comes directly from the slaves. It's an more upbeat, traditional music here. And I'm going to explain to you where the word comes from, okay? You start with les haricots, which are the beans in French. Les haricots. Then it becomes zaricot. Okay? Zaricot. Then it becomes zydeco. Okay? Zydeco. So, quand les esclaves étaient en train de casser les haricots verts, je pense, les haricots verts, ils tapaient avec les pieds et ils chantaient les chansons africaines. Ils tapaient des pieds et ensemble. Ou bien quand ils cultivaient, quand ils récoltaient, tous c'était des chansons. C'est devenu Zydeco, qui est fameuse musique ici en Louisiane des Noirs.
Ah, d'accord.
Ils savent pas que ça. Mes élèves sont tellement contents, surtout les élèves noirs, quand je dis voilà, ça c'est vos ancêtres qui ont créé ce genre de musique. Ça vient directement de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. Donc, la contribution des Africains, ça continue à travers les esclaves. Maintenant,
Ouais.
moi, ce que je ne savais pas, c'est le langage des tambours. Et je vais ajouter ça dans mes classes de français. Je vous remercie beaucoup.
Merci.
Une dernière chose que je voulais dire, je ne connaissais pas la langue des tambours, mais je connaissais la langue créole.
Oui.
D'accord? Créole,
Oui.
le créole. Et ici, en Louisiane, nous avons un créole qui est des langues africaines mélangées avec le français.
Oui.
Et les gens qui parlent créole ici, ils comprennent les gens de Haïti en créole. C'est extraordinaire parce que le créole des Noirs ici est plus proche du créole en Haïti que le français acadien.
OK.
Le français acadien ici, ça vient de Canada.
Ouais.
Mais
Jaleh,
le créole...
si tu peux rapidement traduire ce que tu as dit en quelques mots en anglais, parce que je pense que c'est...
Yes. I'm sorry to take so long. Excuse me for taking so long because I just wanted to tell them how much the African influence through the slaves has continued, especially here in Louisiana. So the last thing I wanted to say was I didn't know about the language of the drums. I'm so grateful and touched by today's presentation, and I will make sure that every French class that I teach from now on is made aware of that contribution also. But I am aware that the slaves would speak a Creole down here. The slaves of here in Haiti and other places of the world, they were not allowed to speak French. The slaves were not allowed to speak French. The slaves were not allowed to speak English. That was the colonial language. They had to come up with their own language. So they mixed the African languages and French. And here, the Creole here, the Black people here that speak Creole French, it's more similar to the Creole in Haiti than it is to the Acadian French down here. The Acadian French down here is closer to Canadian French, but the slaves all over the world, they can kind of understand each other. I think that is extraordinary. All of that is from Africa. Okay, I apologize. I know other people want to speak. So nice to see everybody. Love you. Thank you, Guylaine. Thank you, the organizers.
Thank you,
Jaleh John. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
And everybody can find me on Facebook. Please, if you're on Facebook, come find me. Thank you.
Bye, Jaleh. Thank you so much. Okay, we have maybe 15 minutes left. I think Jaleh was giving a very interesting link between what we are discussing. Mr. Kazemi, do you have the video ready?
Yeah, I think we are ready. You can.
Okay.
There are different clips, different pieces of video. We put them together. Then, okay. Share. You have to find how to share the.
If you can, you put maybe the link on the chat, and we can share it from here.
Okay.
If you're sharing, please make sure you share your sound. On the bottom, you have to click share sound.
Or you can copy the link and put it on the chat, and we will share.
Oui, c'est déjà cliqué. Oui, la vidéo est déjà positionnée. Jésus, il fait partager à nous. Il y a un partagé à côté. C'est bon, dessus. Ah, ça passe. Il y a un partagé à côté. J'ai cliqué, mais même. Oui, ça passe, je crois.
Do you see the? Okay. Now I wanted to explain to you. This is a better dance. Better dance. Professor talked about the better drum. Now this is a dance better. Okay. 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 Okay, this is it's called Zauli. If you see, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you see the Zauli dance classified by UNESCO as World Heritage. Yeah, okay, so okay. You pay attention to the legs, you know, to the movement of the legs.
We can't hear the sound, or is that just the movement of the legs?
Okay. Okay, we start again because now do you hear the music now? Do you
Yes,
hear the
very
sound?
good. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, this is a World Heritage classified by UNESCO. You see the mask and also the dance. We didn't talk about the masks in Cote d'Ivoire. There are more than 60 ethnic groups, and each ethnic groups have tens or maybe more than 50, 60 different types of masks. So if you put all of them together, it make maybe thousands of masks in Cote d'Ivoire, and they are amazing. So now after this, okay, now the next dance is the initiation dance from north of Congo, for those who know, north of Cote d'Ivoire. This is they take the youth to the forest for 2 or 3 months, and they train them. And after this training, they can join the group of adults. So this is an initiation dance. Okay, this is a Baule dance. It's called Goli. Okay.
So, Mr. Kazemi, we have now 5 minutes left.
Sorry?
We have 5 minutes left, and maybe,
Okay.
maybe I'm sure that the friends would like to say hi to each other as they're coming from different parts of the world. So maybe we can wrap it up very quickly.
Okay.
And
So
yeah.
Yeah, I wanted just to show you the last piece of maybe a few minutes of this. This is done by, as you see on the picture, his name is Doug Emmanuel. He has done studies in French, in African dances and drums, and he has, you see it, and do you speak djembe? This is the name of the video. I wanted to show you 2 minutes of this, if the time allows.
Please go
Is
ahead.
okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you can find it on the Google later on if you are interested to watch it. It's very interesting because it has many Baha'i ideas. Okay, so this is just, as you heard, this is a Miriam Makeba's song, very famous. And then it ends up with the African American arts, which is the prolongation of, the African culture. So the black, the African Americans in America, they are fantastic in music. So this is the origin of their music. Just maybe 30 seconds of this part. Okay. I will send you later on the.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
We took you lots of time.
No, thank you very much. I'm going to pass it on to Marisa and Paymon now.
We have just 2 seconds, if you allow. Huda Nadafi wants to say hello through you to Ranzi, because Ranzi also, she was fantastic and she helped a lot with African music. So here is Huda.
Good afternoon. Just to remember Ranzi Kazu, who is a very huge artist coming from Ghana. She was artist here and she continued to promote African dance in Italy. just to remember us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Hudajan. Definitely. Yes. Very well. Well, we have reached the end, and Asif Ali Dejan, you have something to say?
I want to only say hello to Mr. Kazemi because I see him after more than 50 years now on Zoom. We was in the same community, and if he remembered me, I don't know, but they was living with the family with Nayere June and his two other sisters with Nemat June, close to my cousin's house in the same area. And we was in the first street. Allah Hafa آقای کاظمی.
الله Hafa.
خیلی خوشحالم که میبینمت بعد از چندین سال.
شما جوانتر شدین به خاطر این من شما رو نشناختم.
اختیار داری قربونتون برم. خیلی خوشحال شدم از دیدنتون. روح نیره جون شاد. با بهیه جون توی فیسبوک دوست هستیم. ولی از اون خواهر کوچیکتون و نعمت جون خبری ندارم.
الله Hafa آرش، الله Hafa مهری جان، چطوری؟
الله Hafa. حال شما؟
الله
I see that manager Junaidia has her hand up.
Yeah.
Yes, I just want to say I'm so happy to see my cousin. Allahu Akbar.
Allah Hafa manager Jan, how are you doing?
Merci, thank you very much. I'm very happy.
So nice to see you. You have not changed.
Oh,
you have not changed.
Allah Bahá'í Kazemi.
Allah How are you doing?
Merci.
Koffi and Serge for really coming here today and dedicating their evening to educate us on the cultural heritage of the music in Côte d'Ivoire. So thank you so much. I don't know if they are there still. I see Serge, but please, Mr. Kazemi. Serge, thank you so much. Merci infiniment d'être venu. And Mr. Kazemi, please thank the Professor Koffi for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you to you. And thank you to you as well.
Nice to see you, Luis.
Okay.
It's lovely to see Johnny.
Merci beaucoup, professeur Koffi. À très bientôt. Merci infiniment. Au revoir.
Loving greetings to all of you. Loving greeting. Thank you. Oh, okay. Now I recognize you. Look at that. Look at that.